Hi guys, welcome back to what I'm teaching this week. In this episode, we're gonna be talking about second grade lessons for January, and they are working on So and Me. We're doing some winter activities, and we're also reviewing the string instruments that we learned about in December. So my kiddos are coming in, and the first thing we do on the very first, and kind of reviewing forte and piano that they learned last year. So the first thing we do is that I take out my drum and I play forte and piano sounds. So I typically do 8 piano, 8 forte, 8 piano, 8 forte, and then I'll change it a little bit after that. And the kids tiptoe on the piano sounds and stomp on the forte sounds. And this is just a good, easy beginning of the week since I only see them for a week at a time, and I don't see them for a month. I try to make the first thing we do really easy. So this is easy, and then after that we can review forte and piano and what those things mean. And then after that we are going straight into, and I have my little slides. We say forte means loud, piano means quiet. And then we go over the song Grizzly Bear. Now they learned this last year, so most of them actually did remember it, which I thought was pretty good since we were online last year and they remembered. Like that's high praise. And so this song goes, Grizzly bear, oh grizzly bear is, and I tell them to make their hands big if it's loud and like you're whispering if it's quiet. It goes, grizzly bear, oh grizzly bear is sleeping in a cave. Grizzly bear, oh grizzly bear is sleeping in a cave. Please be very quiet, very, very quiet. If you wake him, if you shake him, he'll get very mad. And so we go over that a couple of times so that they remember it. We'll go over the rhythm or we'll go over the words. And then after that, I have them pull out some rhythm sticks and we practice some rhythms, forte and piano. So I use my piano and forte cards. They're literally rhythm cards that have bears and mice on them. I'll link them down below. And they practice playing forte and playing piano and going kind of back and forth. Then after that, I pick up this sticks and we are listening to the song Winter by Vivaldi. So I've been showing them a video so they have something to watch because I want them to see like the violin and all of that. And we're doing the first winter. So there's 3 different movements, and so this is part 1. I very, very briefly tell them, hey, there was this guy, his name was Vivaldi, and he wrote songs for all 4 of the seasons, and he lived here in Italy, and that's pretty much all I tell them about that. And then we review the violin. We talked about the violin. Again, we already talked about the string instruments. We're just kind of, just making sure we didn't forget. And we review the violin. Now, I had high hopes to do like other things after that, but it didn't get there. So what I wanted to do was review the violin and then show them my violin, because I do have a violin. I do not play it more than like string methods, but what I can do is play So Me songs on it. And so I wanted to play it and play our song Quien, Esa Gente, which is just a So Me song, so it's really easy, so that we could then review the song. We did not have time for that, so we'll see if we have time for it next week. But if we do, this song is what we're gonna start with tomorrow anyway, so there we go. So then on Tuesday, they come in, and whether we did that or not, we're starting with the song Quien, Esa Gente. I have a whole lesson pack about this song. I absolutely love it. We've been using it all year long. Super cute, very simple. It goes, ¿Quién es esa gente que anda por allí? Hace mucho ruido, no deja dormir. And with this one, I put the hearts up on the screen, and so we do one time point to the hearts and sing it so that I can be like, there's no word under this heart. What do you think happened on that heart? And they're like, oh, that's when we're quiet. And I'm like, great, because next time we're gonna start talking about quarter rest, so I want them to start getting it in their brain. But we are playing the game that is not authentic, that I totally made up. So this song is in Spanish, and it says, who are all these people walking over here? They're making so much noise that I cannot sleep. And so what I do is I have one kid come up to the front, and they're the sleeper, and the rest of the kids walk around the room, and then at the end of the song they have to freeze, and if they move then the sleeper sees them and they have to come to the front and join them. So the first time the sleeper picks one person who moves and they come into the front. The second time both people go and pick 2 people who are moving and they come out. So it actually ends up going by really quickly because there's so many kids who get out each time, and it increases as you go. After that, we're really quickly reviewing So and Me. So these are slides that are included in that lesson pack, which I'll link down below, but we just go over like, hey, look, remember we have our So and we have our Me, and they live on the staff, and sometimes they're on lines, sometimes they're in spaces, and I'm really pointing that out this week because we are writing notes on the staff, so I really want to like really make sure that's ingrained in the brain. And then we sing through a couple of patterns really quickly. And then after that, we went back to the Grizzly Bear song. Just really quick, since I'm like, great, now that you're all warmed up, let's do our Grizzly Bear song. And then after that one, I asked them like what bears do during the winter, and they're like, and hopefully somebody says, oh, they hibernate. And I'm like, great. There are other things in the winter, like there's snow and there's this and that and all of the different things. And so then we go into our song that's called It Snows in the Night. This is a Slavonic folk song, so from like Eastern Europe. And so it goes, slowly the snow comes floating down over the rooftops in the town, down through the night without a sound, turning and whirling to the ground. And so I showed them some actions, and so I have them do, slowly the snow comes floating down over the rooftops in the town, down through the night without a sound, turning and whirling to the ground. On that last part, they spin around slowly and then they end all the way down on the ground. So they do the actions along with that a couple of times, and then I tell them that this is a, you know, Slavonic folk song, and I show them where Eastern Europe is, and I also show them on a globe where Europe is in relation to us. And then after that, I'm like, great, we're gonna listen to another song about winter, also written by Vivaldi. And so then we listen to part 2 of Winter, the second movement. After that, we're really quickly reviewing the viola. And so I just like show them a picture of the viola. We talk about how it's a little bit bigger than the violin. This is a review, so it's just really, really quick. And then I've been showing them these videos I found on YouTube. This guy plays the viola, and he has so many like pop songs that he plays, and he's so good. Like we had a jam out session in summer, it was great. And then after that, we are standing up, and I'm like, you know, there's other things you can do in the winter too, like ice skating. And they're like, oh, cool. And I'm like, now we don't have ice here, but we're gonna try ice skating. They're like, oh, okay. And so what we're doing is I have them stand up, and we go back to Winter movement 1. And I put on the screen either a quarter note or 2/8 notes, and they have to skate. So first I just have them walk in place. So like they'll do the quarter note, and then if I switch to the 8th note, then they do the 8th notes. And then if they do a good job and I don't think they're gonna like slide into each other and hit each other, then I let them take off their shoes. And if they're wearing socks, then I let them slide around on the tile floor. If they don't have socks on, they can still use their shoes. You can also do this, I've seen people use paper plates on carpet. It works. Also like laminated things. So I saw someone did like laminated snowflakes that they put on their feet and slid around on that. I find that socks are the easiest thing to do. And usually I bring a bunch of old socks that I've washed, and I'll let the kids use those if they didn't bring their own socks. And so that also helps, but it is always a hit with any grade. I've been doing it actually with 4th grade this year, and I've never done it with kids that old, and they still love it. So try it out, it's fun. Then on Wednesday, the kids come in and we're listening to Beethoven's 7th Symphony Movement 2. And with this one, I show them the rhythm of it on the slide. So I have a whole Google slide lesson for this too. This is iconic notation, but that's okay. And so I say, you know, oh, what rhythm do we know that has 1 sound? Ta. What rhythm do we know that has 2 sounds? Ti. Great. And so we'll read through the rhythm, and then when we get here, I'm like, ooh, there's a statue. I guess when there's a statue, you can't make any noise. Can you freeze like a statue instead? And so when we get to that one, they stop. So the rhythm is ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta. rest. We go through and I show them like a whole bunch of different famous statues, and they match each one, so they have lots of different ideas for statues they can do. And so typically we read it and just do the statue, and then after like 2 or 3 times, then I'll have them also walk the beat along with it 2 or 3 times, and then I'll play the song. It starts out really, really slow and it gets faster and louder as it goes. So this is a really fun one and really easy. After that, I changed things a little bit. So after that, what we're doing is we are using whiteboards to draw the notes on the staff. And so I'll say, you know, a pattern on So and Me, and the kids have to draw it on the whiteboards, and that takes up pretty much the rest of the time. Usually I'll do 2 or 3, and I walk around and I write down who's got it correct and who is still needing a little more help. And then in the last like 2 minutes, I'll let them make up their own patterns and they can share it with their neighbors, and they always love doing that, and it just makes it more fun. On Friday, I had to move things around. So if we have a day on Thursday, which doesn't always happen because, you know, the first week we only had 4 days and next week's a 4-day week, so it's supposed to be twice, but that didn't work out either. So if we have a Thursday, then the kids are doing a little coloring sheet that I made. I do not have them ready and posted for you, so I do apologize. I am working on it. I try to have everything posted for you before we do these videos, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. So it's a coloring sheet with a snowman on it, and it has So Me patterns, and they have to color by the correct pattern. So like if it says white, so me, then they have to find the notes on the staff that say so me, and color those parts white. So it's a color by code, but with solfege, and it's one of their favorite things in 2nd grade. They love them. So I love them because they love them. And so on Thursday, if we have a Thursday, then we are going over the Beethoven again, and this time letting them move around the room if they're doing a good job, and then doing the coloring sheet, and that usually takes up most of the class, and I have a 2nd coloring sheet in case I finish the first one. So there's that. If not, then on Friday we are doing that instead, because I changed things around a little bit. So then on Friday we're doing It Snows in the Night again. We're going over a couple of patterns on the staff, and we're using my solfege snowball fight game, which I will link down below, and I'll like pop up a video here so you can see what it looks like. So much fun, so much fun. They love it. To review where our solfege is, and then after that, depending on the class, I was supposed to do the coloring sheets on Wednesday, but I like changed things up a little bit, and so if they haven't done the coloring sheet, then they're doing it on Friday. If they have done the coloring sheet, then they're making up their own pattern on a little like snowflake, and so just making up a little So Me pattern. It takes like 5 seconds, really easy. And then after that, we are listening to the last winter piece, reviewing the cello and the bass, and reading this book about Yo-Yo Ma. So this book is called Playing at the Border, a story of Yo-Yo Ma, who, if you have never heard him, he's amazing. He's like the best cellist ever. And so reading a little bit about him to learn just, you know, a little bit about a famous musician. And then we are playing the Grizzly Bear game. So the Grizzly Bear game is, we sing the song and the kids walk around in a circle. One kid's in the middle and they're the grizzly bear, so they're asleep on the ground. And at the end of the song, everyone has to freeze. And the grizzly bear wakes up and roars at everybody. And then if they see anyone moving, then they have to snap their jaws. So it is kind of like 2 freeze dance games in the same week, but you know what? It's fine. There's also a chase game version of Grizzly Bear, but I like this one better because it's calmer. It's actually like a really calm, quiet game, which I appreciate. So that's like 2 different ways that Friday can go depending on how many times I see the kiddos during the week and just kind of what we got done and what is finished. Because as you know, lessons never go the way you want them to. So that is where we are. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I would love to know what your 2nd graders are working on here in January and maybe even in February, so that I have some ideas for what we should do in February. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.